All right, everybody, can I please have your attention? I am excited to introduce our next session. We have Inductive Automation, which is one of our title sponsors of ProveIt, and Cirrus Link Solutions together. Now, if you don't know Inductive Automation, they have been a company of firsts. They were the first to offer unlimited licensing, first to publish their pricing, first to let you download a free trial, first to bridge OT and IT using SQL and HTML, and they have made a career out of doing the things industry said you couldn't do. Presenting today, we have Travis Cox, their Chief Technology Evangelist. He's 22 years at IA, started his career as an integrator building SCADA systems by hand. Now, fun fact, the man has also bowled 90 perfect games. So when he says something is dialed in, believe him. We also have Kevin McCluskey, their Chief Technology Architect. He has over 16 years at IA. And when he is not architecting systems, he is playing in the Inductive Automation Department of Funk band. And then, of course, we all know him. We have Arlen Nipper from Cirrus Link Solutions. Yeah, give it up for Arlen. Okay. Arlen has been solving industrial problems for over 45 years. He got hooked on digital technology in 1978, writing machine code for an 8-bit microprocessor on a summer co-op. Oh, and he helped co-invent MQTT. So if you ever use MQTT, as most of you should be, you're looking at the guy who started it. They are here today to show you what Ignition 8.3 can do from the edge to the enterprise. So let's roll the video.
Inductive Automation is a leader in industrial automation software that empowers its customers to dream it, do it. It was founded in 2003 by Steve Heckman, a prominent system integrator with a quarter-century of experience who is determined to solve SCADA pain points. As a result, the company created its flagship product, Ignition, the #1 platform for SCADA, HMI, IoT, MES, and much more. Privately owned and in business for over 20 years, Inductive Automation's global presence is flourishing. 140 plus countries have Ignition installations. There are over 5,000 integrators in its integrator program, and 65% of Fortune 100 use Ignition. The company has earned numerous industry accolades and was recently recognized in Automation World's 2025 Leaders in Automation program in 5 categories. Cirrus Link Solutions is an industrial IoT software company that helps move operational data securely and in real time from the plant floor to enterprise systems. Built on open standards like MQTT and Sparkplug, makes it easier to modernize industrial data architectures without custom code or vendor lock-in. Co-founded by Arlen Nipper, co-inventor of MQTT, Cirrus Link is a leader in event-driven systems and unified namespace architectures. As a strategic partner of Inductive Automation, Cirrus Link's MQTT modules are widely used with Ignition to support modern SCADA, MES, and enterprise data initiatives.
Please welcome to the stage, Inductive Automation.
Hello, everybody. We are so excited to be here. As Amy said, I'm Travis Cox.
I'm Kevin McCluskey.
I'm Arlen Nipper.
The man, the myth, the legend. We are excited here to kind of show Ignition 8.3 in action. And we gave a good background here on Inductive Automation and Ignition in the video, but just wanted to kind of mention we've been in the industry for 23 years, privately held, and there's no way we're going to change that. Our independence is key to our success, despite what rumors out there they say. Our vision, our mission is to help create the future of automation by empowering people to go and dream it, do it. And that's everything that we do in the Ignition platform, is to help people realize those dreams and the ideas that they want to bring to life. With Ignition, it is a universal industrial integration platform, application platform, and so much more. It has unlimited licensing model. You can build any kind of application with it, connect to any kind of data, bring that in, and ultimately solve challenges at every layer of your stack. Over to you, Arlen, for Cirrus Link.
Thank you. So fortunately, we've been the only strategic partner with Inductive Automation for the last 10 years. So that means what we do in the modules you're going to see today, engine, transmission, distributor, we work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, always keeping those updated and at the latest technology level. So with over 3,800 customers now, and Walker, you can verify that, we have seen, as you can imagine, just about every MQTT infrastructure you can imagine out there. So it's done very well.
All right, so today, we're going to be really showcasing open standards, and we have a real strong dedication, both inductive automation and Cirrus Link, to these open standards. We wouldn't be here on stage without OPC UA or OPC. And of course, now with MQTT, all the advancements that we're having with MQTT and Sparkplug, but there's new standards that are emerging, like SESMI i3X and some others that we're going to be showcasing here today. So these standards are what helps this ecosystem work together and be interoperable, and we're very excited about that. With Ignition, we can solve challenges at every layer of the stack, and we're going to show that. We have one platform, but there are 3 additions to the platform. Ignition Edge, that goes at the edge of the network, that helps us do local HMIs and remote data collection, and bring that up to a centralized Ignition server at the site level or at the plant, where we can see everything from the entire facilities, bring it all together in one place. And then we can also then go to the cloud, where we can look at our entire enterprise, bring multiple sites together into a single dashboard. We're going to show every layer here today. We're here to show really how we can solve challenges with 4 critical problems that are out there. One is data collection, contextualization, and democratization, where we can bring that data in, provide the context that's needed so that we can actually leverage that data on higher levels. As well as, of course, we need to still build HMI and SCADA systems and OT applications that are out there on the plant floor. And then now we're in a place where these systems are getting larger. We have many more sites, many more locations. We want to be able to do enterprise deployment, scalability, and management. And we also want to enable IT. We want to enable the business to do what they need, enable the ecosystem here, all the vendors to be able to leverage what Ignitions we have as a foundation, as well as enabling cloud. So those are the 4 areas we're going to be focusing on today. We leverage the ProveIt Enterprise B Virtual Factory. We can certainly connect to all of them, but we focused on this one as a multi-site beverage manufacturing operation with a full edge-to-cloud journey. And so we are showing with this operations, there's 4 areas of the site. There's liquid processing, there's filler production, there's packaging and palletizing. And so each 4 of those areas, we have Ignition Edge at those areas that are connecting to the PLCs, bringing the data in, where we can add the context and have that be brought up to a site level. And each of the sites have an Ignition server as well, and then there's an Enterprise Ignition Cloud Edition at the very top. So in this architecture here, we have 16 gateways that are deployed that we're going to be showing here today. There's 4 parts of our demo that we're going to look at. The first is really the data flows. We're going to show MQTT and how that works from our edge all the way up to the cloud, and look at the data models that are built out in there as well. We're also really excited to kind of showcase Ignition as really the UNS of the plant floor. They're all in our tag database. All of the UDTs, the metadata, the context that's there is ready to go for anybody on top. And there's some new technologies we're going to be showcasing here today. In MCP is one. We're going to look at the MCP server for a module for Ignition, as well as SESMI i3X. So we'll be demoing both of those pieces here to really get all that context, all that data from Ignition, including history, alarms, and get that up into higher levels. We're also going to look at Ignition platform as a foundation for being able to connect to other systems that are out there. We're going to show IoT Bridge for Snowflake. We're going to look at, there's modules built out for Ignition. And Thread is here, one of the vendors. They have a module they built out. I'd encourage you to check out their session as well. That takes the data and allows us to build a bigger knowledge graph on that data. We're going to show a Databricks flow here, as well as Google Pub Sub today. So lots of things that we're going to be demoing and showcasing. And then not only do we have 16 gateways for our production environment, we are now deploying 4 environments to have a full DevOps procedure, and we're going to show a full version control and DevOps lifecycle here today. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the demo.
As you can tell, we're really packing it in.
So we have a lot to show, so you guys ready? Buckle in? Let's do it. So first and foremost, we have 4 areas of the site. So if I go to area1.site1.production.prd, I'm going to get to the first local HMI that's out there. And again, we have Ignition Edge so that we can take the data, do store and forward, add context on the data, and get that into the broker, which we're going to show here in just a moment. But we got the HMI, we can see trending alarms at each of those areas. So if I go to area 2, that was the liquid processing. Now this is the filling area. We're also showcasing some animation with these HMIs. Let's go to area 3.
And Travis, you're showing site 1, right, for each of these?
I'm showing site 1 right now for each of these. So this is area 3 for site 1. This is the packaging HMI. And then let's go to area 4. Whoops. You got to type it right.
This proves its life.
There we go. So area 4, and that is the palletizing. And in this case, we're making some soda. So this is the Ignition Orange soda at site 1. If I were to go to site 2, here we're going to be making a different soda, which is 83T. So we have some cool ignition gateways that are deployed everywhere. Now, how this actually works, if we look at the Ignition Edge, we have various data models that we built out for this demo. So there are, the process data, some counts. Of course, there's OE data. There's a bunch of UDTs that are built out. If I expand this here, I can see site 1, liquid processing. There's our tank storage. There's all of our tanks that we have, the lot numbers for the tanks, the metrics, so the OE metrics, as well as machine ID. This is actually using the SESME Smart Manufacturing Profile. That is the machine ID. And what we actually used was our SM profile converter from SESME to basically go and take a profile, and this guy, here's I'm looking at taking the CNC base profile as an example, where I can take that, import that from the cloud library, and have those UDTs being built out in Ignition. And so this actually creates all the UDTs that we need, and then we instantiate those UDTs like we did here at the Edge for that machine identifier that we're going to then have all published into the MQTT broker. So there's a lot of context, engineering units, a lot of metadata that's available on these UDTs. And so Arlen, let's talk about how we get this from an MQTT standpoint.
Well, one of the things we talked about is Sparkplug is basically an overlay on how to use MQTT. In Sparkplug, when we built it, we added the ability to publish templates. So we literally are taking, not specific to inductive automation, we're filling out a template based on the UDT so we can automatically publish that. So anybody subscribing can automatically, it's plug and play, you get all the UDTs, and now you get the instances of those UDTs when we publish using our data messages. So everything is all wrapped up in a nice, clean Sparkplug B packaging. So we're able to basically come up, we can discover all the UDTs, and then we can have an ignition system that doesn't know the UDTs, doesn't know the tags, and everything is self-discovered.
So here we have the transmission side that is connected to the virtual factory here, the MQTT broker. We have a transmitter space taking all of those tags that we have in there, and we're publishing it. So if we look at MQTT Explorer and connect to the ProveIt Enterprise, if I go down to Sparkplug B and look at Inductive, you can see that every one of our sites and areas are all publishing data, all those data models that we have going up there.
And one thing real quick, we're using the UNS view of Sparkplug in Ignition. So what that means is that we can take, and there is a group node device ID, but we're going down one more level so that when Travis or whoever designs all the remote gateways, everything merges together in a single view once you get up to the enterprise level.
Yeah, this is a new feature in the last couple of years, right here.
Right.
Yep.
So if we look here at the site ignition SCADA, which I'll go to the screens in a moment, but if I look at the data coming in through MQTT, this is MQTT Engine, where we're subscribing to all the data from the broker, and I'm able to see all the sites and all the areas as to just one hierarchy. Even though there's all the different edge nodes,
right,
it still represents the data structure, the tags, that doesn't care about where it came from.
Right.
It's just going to be the structure that we want in terms of how we build our screens and how we build our tag paths and all of that against this structure. And of course, as we mentioned, here is Engine, where all that data is coming in from all the sites. that's in the broker, if everything from that site, and I can actually go into that definition, and I can add history, alarming, all that to the UDT at the top level, and every new site that comes in automatically gets history. At the central level, we are using MQT, we are using our Ignition tag core historian so that we can log all that data to a time series database on this machine. So here is the site level Ignition server where I'm showing all the lines from that site, all the storage tanks, all the mixing vats. We're able to, of course, to have some dashboards where we can show more information about the OEE and the hourly case analysis, any kind of the data that we're collecting from all of those locations. As well as we can see, again, more information on each of the tanks. We can look at trending alarms that are happening, everything that's going on. Now with alarms, nothing to mention is that that's also happening through MQTT.
Right, so we now have the ability to publish alarms over MQTT as well, and you can go and acknowledge those alarms, and those are acknowledged back over MQTT as well.
So that we're showing Sparkplug here, and that's fundamentally how this OT architecture is working. But there's more to it than just Sparkplug, in that we can also publish data just as JSON messages to the broker. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go to, We're going to go to a different server. I might already have it. And so I'm going to go over here to our UNS transmitters that we have in MQTT. So what's a UNS transmitter as I get that set up here?
Okay, so the UNS transmitter is, even though really the way we look at it is for command and control for single source of truth, we've got Sparkplug to be able to publish that up. But now once we have the tags in an Ignition gateway, IT might want to see each one of those tags individually as a JSON message. So with the UDT discrete tag transmitter, we can point anywhere in the hierarchy in Ignition and be able to publish those out every time they change as a single JSON message.
So let's enable this UNS transmitter, let's save that, and if we go and look in the broker, once all that data gets set, so we're right now waiting for this one here to go 1 of 1, where all the tags in there, so there it is, they're all publishing as individual JSON messages. You can see for all the sites, liquid processing, here's our tank storage, all the individuals, so no longer, it's now broken out by all the individual metrics that are there. So not only can we use Sparkplug, but of course, being able to do JSON is there as well. Now another piece of this is leveraging a new system.
Travis, real quick, sorry,
Yes.
man. Can you explain real quick why IT would want those messages in JSON format, the application?
Well, a lot of companies that we're working with are already set up. They don't want to go through the overhead of parsing a Sparkplug message. We've already got it up in Ignition. We know where it is, and we can push this out to applications that aren't Sparkplug aware.
So what we're seeing is we already have an OT application, and now we're just taking the exact same data and piping it in an IT format to go to IT applications.
That's correct.
All right, awesome.
Yep.
Absolutely. And now with Ignition 8.3, we have a new system called event streams. And this is a way to move event-driven data from any source to any destination. And so what I'm actually going to show you is just creating a new stream that's going to be for some alarms in Ignition. So we're going to use the event listener. And I'm going to have it go to a handler where I'm going to specifically go to MQTT. And I want it to go to a specific, so let me open this, a specific topic. And this is going to be alarm data, so it's not just tags inside of Ignition. So let's go here and put that topic in. Let's save this. And so now with a simple event stream, any alarms that are happening in the system are going to be published into that MQTT broker. So let me go in here, save that. So let's go into the MQTT. Let's go into the virtual factory. And if I look at Enterprise B, and go down here to Inductive, I've got alarm messages that are now publishing using event streams. And we can leverage any kind of data that comes into event streams and publish that to MQTT, as well as we could, of course, make event streams where the source of that is coming from MQTT or Sparkplug, allowing us to really do a lot more with this data. Yep. So now we're at that site level. we're able to see the data at the site level. Everything's coming up from the edge to the site. And then now, of course, we can look at the enterprise, where we're looking at the data from all the sites. And so here we have a screen that shows all of the site OEEs and line OEEs for every one of the 3 sites that we have.
And really quick here, notice that we put Ignition on the edge out there. So now if my network is going up and down out at the edge, we're able to take those messages that we would have published with their timestamp, and those go into a store and forward queue. Then when the network comes back up, we take everything that you would have missed going into your time series database, and we publish that up with the is history flag set. That's very important because we don't want live data coming, or historical data coming across an operator's screen and they have a heart attack, right? So it's funny, we came out with before store and forward, we were publishing, we were at poll response, we'd get it, we would publish it. Poll response, we'd get it, we'd publish it. About 8 years ago, we did store and forward. Now, nobody wants any gaps in their time series database. So it's incredible how they were willing to, if poll response, if the network goes down, we're going to have gaps in our time series database. But now, with MQTT, Sparkplug, and the Ignition platform, your network can be going up and down, but you're always going to get that history backfilled into your time series database.
Absolutely. And if you've ever seen a demo from Arlen, you'll notice his infamous Sparkle chart, and we had to bring that Sparkle chart here, where we can see all the MQTT edge nodes that are being published into this infrastructure right now. And so these are from all the sites that we have. As well as we're also connected to the to all the enterprises that are in all the virtual factories. If I go to enterprises, there's enterprise A, and all the data from everybody that's coming in. We can look at all of that data as well and build dashboards and see. So here's Opta22 utilities. Let's go down to the air dryers. The air dryers that they had. Here's that. Let's look at the ambient temperature, and there's data coming in from that Opta22 device. So we can bring all that data that's in there and leverage it, as well as be able to push data into that infrastructure very easily. All right, so now we're going to kind of move to the next part. We talked about data flow, the full example of the Ignition Edge, the standard Ignition, and Cloud Edition, and how all that works. Let's look at 2 new technologies that are there, one being MCP and the other being i3x, the SESMI i3x API. One thing I want to mention really quick is that inside of Ignition, these UDTs that we have, there is a plethora of data that is inside of these UDTs, of our tags. The hierarchy that we have, all of the metadata that's in there, if we have history or alarming turned onto it, history is being stored in the SQL database or a core story, and all the history of the alarms that are happening, the alarms themselves. There's a lot of wealth of knowledge in with this tag database. With MQTT and OPC-UA, we can get that data out as live data. That's great. We've had data in SQL databases, so if you want to connect to the database and bring that data in and query it, you certainly could do that. But now there's new ways that we can get the full power of that, and that is with the i3x API as well as with MCP. So let's take a look at both of those. So first and foremost is our MCP server. So on Friday last week, we have released our MCP module as EA. So it's on our forums. You can go download and play around with it. What we have set up here is I have at the site level on premise, we have an N8N workflow that is basically over here. So this N8N workflow is an AI workflow. It's open source technology where I'm connected to an LLM, a chat model, as well as the MCP server for Ignition. So that tool is connecting to Ignition, to our MCP. And at that site level, we have all the data, all that data that's in the tag database is being exposed. And so from there, what we've done is we have in our application we call it Iggy Chat. So Iggy is kind of our internal mascot at Inductive Automation. And here I can actually go in and ask some questions. So for example, I can say, tell me about my alarms. And so this is going to use the N8N workflow, kick off a workflow where it's basically going, And kicking off this question, it's using Ignition's MCP live data from the system right away to bring back these responses. And this is all on-prem, so a lot of people will want to do that, but bringing a Llama down, or potentially you want to, of course, do it in the cloud, where you can connect to a cloud LLM. So really simple. This kind of shows the power of being able to bring this data in. So that's one. Let's say, what is my site or my line 1 OEE? So it's kind of nice to be able to ask these kinds of questions. But you also want to be able to get more than just some of the data that's there. So I can say, what bottle? If I can type, bottlenecks do I have at my site? My goodness. And this is actually going to go and look at all the data that we're bringing up from everywhere from the virtual factory, and being able to answer these kind of questions very quickly for an operator who's using the SCADA system right there at the site, be able to get that information. I can also say, do you have any improvement recommendations for my site? And so here it's actually going to go through and see if there's any recommendations that we have. And there's a whole slew of them that we can look at. So this is leveraging MCP. It really exposes that full power of what Ignition has that we can get out there. And with the module, you can actually build any kind of tool, resource, and prompt that you want for MCP and expose not just the data that's in Ignition, the config that's in Ignition, but anything custom that you want as well.
One quick note is that you don't have to use N8N if you don't want to. With MCP module, you can use any technology that supports MCP. So if you're using Claude Desktop and you want to connect it locally, if you're using other AI technologies out there, you can use our MCP server along with that. Absolutely.
So that's the MCP side. In our workshop, we'll talk more about all these and kind of go behind the scenes of that. The other is now the SESMI i3X API. If you're not familiar with that, I'd encourage you guys to check out the booth as well as their session on Thursday. But this is a way to be able to expose all the data models, the objects that we have in Ignition, and all the relationships that we have inside of Ignition. And there is an i3X Explorer tool that SESMI has. And what I'm going to do is I'm pointing it to the Ignition gateway. And we have all these endpoints are built out in Ignition. So if I connect there, I'm able to discover all the different namespaces, all the UDTs that Ignition has, and you can see all the definitions of those, as well as, of course, getting down to that hierarchy. So if I go all the way down here to my site, go to my liquid processing, go to my tank storage, let's go to tank 1, look at the process, I can see the process data for that UDT and history of that information down here, as well as I can look at the alarms. So there's alarm relationships where I can see the current state of the alarm and all of the alarm journals as well with that. So leveraging these kinds of open standards and open specs allow us to expose that data and more of that data to people that are out there. And so this is a pretty exciting area for that. All right, the next piece we're going to look at is now how we can get this data, how we can get data out. Those are two ways, but there's more ways we can look at getting data out. And Arlen, while I get ready for Snowflake, why don't you talk about the Snowflake, the IoT bridge that we have?
Okay. Well, if you're familiar with Snowflake, Snowflake is a cloud data store. Think of it as like an SQL database on steroids. So we wanted an easy way to be able to take all of the contextual information from Ignition. That includes the UDTs and then the instances of the UDTs. So we can publish all of that in real time, automatically discover all the UDTs, build out the templates. So now I know from factory 1, line 1, I've got conveyor 2. Conveyor 2 has a UDT. Here's all the elements in that UDT. And now we're populating the SQL database in Snowflake in real time without writing a single line of code.
So what we've got here, we've got a Snowflake account. You can see the database. And this IoT bridge creates all the schema. So there's tables already created. So here, for example, are all the Sparkplug raw messages. And I don't have any messages coming in. This is empty. And what we're going to do is we're going to publish all the data from Ignition to a cloud broker now, to a different broker, and have that, or where the IoT bridge brings that into to Snowflake. And it will discover UDTs and build out views for us to look at that data. So we're going to go over here to our transmission. And I have a transmitter that is going to go to a Snowflake, the Snowflake broker, the broker we have up there in the cloud. It's not enabled right now. We're going to go ahead and enable it, turn this on. Let's go back to our servers. And so At this point, all of the data is being discovered inside of Ignition. And that's now we have 2 of 2 that's connected. So now another transmitter, the UNS transmitter, as well as the spark plug. And now all that data is flowing into into Snowflake. So if I refresh the raw table here, these are just all the individual spark plug messages. You're starting to see them coming in. And what that does then is as more data comes in, we are building out the actual object models, the views up here that allow us to see all that data. So there we go, I refreshed it, there's our views. So you can see UDTs are starting to come in. And I have a cool view to look at this. If I go back to my enterprise gateway, let's go back to the enterprise server. Let's go to our Snowflake dashboard, and so it hasn't quite built them all out yet, but ultimately we can query all the data that's going into Snowflake. So that data is now just being injected. So
Right, using JDBC.
Yeah, using JDBC to be able to query all that data. So it makes it very easy to get this data to multiple places. So for Snowflake, that's one example, the IoT bridges, other IoT bridges that you have as well.
Right.
And of course, now there's more places people want data to go. And
Absolutely.
Databricks being another big one that people want to leverage. Lucky for us, we have a module SDK for Ignition. And with that, not only can we build connectors, but outside, third party can build connectors. And there was a gentleman who made a Databricks connector, open sourced it, to basically take data from Ignition and through Zero Bus be able to get that data up to Databricks. So here I've got this table in Databricks. I don't have any data in there right now, these tag events. So it'll be an empty table. But within Ignition, we can go and turn on, so let's go over here and to our Zero Bus config. I have this module installed. I don't have it enabled right now. I basically have some tags that are set up to, so an OE metric that's gonna go, using this module, it's gonna go and store this through Zero Bus, to a Databricks table. So there we go, we're gonna save that. And it's super easy to install this module. You can get it from the GitHub page. And this data is going to just start logging directly within Databricks, if we get it to save here.
One thing that's nice that I'll note is that we have an open available module SDK that has GitHub examples that are available for anybody inside the room. So if you have a cloud platform that you want to have an Ignition connector from, you can use that. You can also create Exchange resources, which are just Ignition resources. But if you want to have that deep integration, that module SDK is something that's just available for anybody. You don't even need to sign up, give your information. It's just out there. And we also have an integration guide for folks who have platforms like this that we'll be releasing in the next week here that we're happy to share with anybody in the crowd.
Okay.
As live demos go, it is connected. We'll come back and show the data coming in with that. But it allows us to just easily inject data to go to Snowflake, go to Databricks, lots of options there. Another one I wanted to kind of share, again, looking at event streams. Event streams is a way for us to move data around. And not only do we have specific sources and handlers already defined, but we can create custom sources or handlers where we can get data to be sent however we want. So I'm going to do one to go to Google PubSub. So we're going to create a new event stream. Take some tags in Ignition, so I'll go down and look at, let's go to our site, and in particular, let's see, I want to go to packaging, labeler, metric, we'll get some OE metrics, bring this here, and on a handler, I can actually, there's various things we can send data to, but I can also leverage scripting in Ignition. And one thing that we did do was use the REST API that GCP provides so that I can actually send all of these tag events up there as well. So if I save this, now I have data publishing to PubSub. You can see the 9 messages that are there. And all that data is actually going directly into a BigQuery database table. So if I refresh this table, you can see all those metrics, all those MQTT values are coming through. So very easy to kind of get data out to a lot of different places leveraging MQTT standards like that, leveraging Module SDK, or leveraging scripting within Ignition. All right, so as we alluded to before, we have a pretty large architecture that we've built out. And so I'm going to turn it over to Kevin to talk about our whole DevOps procedure.
Thank you, Travis. As mentioned earlier, I am Chief Technology Architect at Inductive Automation, so I get to talk to you about architecture. This is what we showed very quickly earlier. I'll mention just a couple more things here, and we want to keep the pace going pretty quick, so I won't spend too much time on this. If you want to check out our workshop later, we are happy to dig in as deep as you want with these different topics, and we will take you through in a little bit more detail at that point, but we'll just fly through this right now. Right here, you can see at the bottom, we have Kubernetes clusters. We have a dev, a staging, and a production Kubernetes cluster. We have Argo CD that is managing these things. And then we have something called Cargo that is moving around releases. So I thought that it would be interesting to show you. We also have the ability to pull down a local stack. So before this, we just did a pull down stack, a git checkout, and then we did a Docker compose up-d, and we pulled that into the system. And if we take a look at our edge gateways here, I noticed something earlier that I'll just go fresh here. So we've got a area1.site1. I'll do it inside the dev system here. DEV, demo, ProveIt. And if I go, instead of the area, if I just go to the site here, we added a logo. I gave it the wrong URL. So that was still the same project. Let me pull back there. Once again, this is live, but this is no smoke and mirrors. We don't have any recording of any of this. We don't even have a backup recording. We decided to do it for you right here. So this is our overall site. And Arlen.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I thought this morning you were going to add the SiriusLink logo.
Yeah. I'm sorry. But we did, and we have it in our local system here. But you're right, we should probably get this rolled out to our systems. I know that's not good enough, is it?
No.
Do you want it on just maybe site one?
All of them.
All of them, all of them. I can do that. All right, so let me walk you guys through here. So we made the change already. We have it inside. This is GitHub. Most of you are probably at least somewhat familiar with this. And we have pull requests. So this is a copy of what we have here locally, right? We have a PR that we already did here. Think of a PR as a change set if you are not familiar. And all I'm going to do is
one quick thing to mention before you go in there is that all of Ignition 8.3's configurations in the file system. So with it being in the file system, we can have every bit of it in a GitHub repository, and that's what we have within this platform, or in this application repository. So we've already taken that local dev environment, we've added the logo. Kevin did do that this morning. He committed, it made a PR, but we didn't merge it for you, Arlen. I'm sorry, man. We got to do that.
And we can make another one if you want to see it. So all of this is sitting right here. I'm going to pop down, squash and merge this guy. And then what this does is it drops it right into that repo. It is now merged, and I could do this automatically, but what I actually want to do is on the fly create a new release. So I'm going to come over to manual. As I said, we could have it automatically create a new release, but I'll just do it myself. What version do you guys want to call this? 1.5, 2.0? 6.7. 6.7, all right. 6.7, all right. So 6.7.0, it needs 3. And so we've thrown that in there. It's going through its process, and we've got the Zach Scriven release coming out here in a minute. We will take a look. It runs through each one of these steps behind the scenes, but it doesn't really matter to us. We just know that this release is moving through its process, and then as soon as it's done, we get that green checkbox. And this goes into Cargo. This is Cargo right over here. We can see 6.7 sitting right there. And this is going to be automatically promoted to dev. So we can also take these and drag them around and put them in the different environments. Dev has all of our dev servers inside it. So it has all of the different Site 1, Site 2, Site 3 dev servers. That includes the site server. That includes all the area servers there. So this is basically 15 gateways that are sitting right there. And this is being promoted basically to all of them. If I click over here, I can take a look. It's gone through, git clone, YAML update, Argo CD. Details here don't really matter from a practical standpoint. The practical standpoint is now we have 6.7 that has been moved over to Argo, which is coordinating the release. So this is Argo, Argo CD, if you've never seen it before. And I will pop over to one of my dev environments, maybe a Site 1 dev, and I can see this is how it moves things through. Behind the scenes, we also have git sync running. If some of this terminology is foreign to you or this feels a little bit complicated, don't worry, we are releasing all of this open source, available to everybody here. We'll have that released in the next couple of weeks here. We're gonna do a little bit more polish here. But this is going to be available, and you can use basically the work that we put into it to stand on the shoulder of maybe regular-sized people. I was going to say giants, but don't want to inflate us too much. But so we're sitting right there, and the health check looks good over here. It does take a little bit for it to move through to each one of these, but let me take a look at our Site 1. On the demo side, so site1.dev, and we've got the Cirrus Link
We
logo.
did it, Arlen.
There we go. Boom.
How cool is that? All right, and the next...
Now, how many servers was that?
That was 15 servers.
So keep in mind, that's 15 servers for dev, 15 servers for staging, 15 servers for production.
You're absolutely right, Travis. And let me pop right back over to Cargo and hit this button, say instant promote from upstream. And now this is promoting out to all of my staging servers. So this is going to 15 more servers. I'm just gonna let that run in the background. And in about, 20 seconds, we are going to have that all in staging. I can do the exact same thing for production.
Cool.
But that's great. We did a lot of work to build out the first site.
We did.
We did have 3 sites in this virtual factory.
Yeah. Well, and I guess the question for the audience would be, I mean, this is something real, right? You want to know what this actually takes to deploy over the course of when you've got something new happening, when you have a new site that's coming online, let's say. And so obviously there's infrastructure to set up each one of these servers. There's an Ignition gateway, there's databases, there are firewall rules, there are permissions management and governance of all of that. There's DNS, there's a whole slew of things that you need to set up anytime you do this. And so if you set up an engineer to do these things and you get Site 4 and you basically have it sitting over there and you want to spin that up, what's that gonna take an engineer? It might take a week or two to get it done. What does it take in terms of if we were to have somebody familiar with this architecture spinning all of that up? You think a couple of days, maybe a day, maybe we'll show it later with a couple of hours or maybe even get it down to an hour. Well, give me 180 seconds.
So let's commission a whole brand new site from scratch.
So if you want to, you can start your clock, you can start your timer there on your phones. No pressure on me, but I'm gonna pop over here and take a look at our enterprise side. I'm going to go in and commission something. Once again, this is real. I'll go out to production for Site 4, and we'll call this Dallas, Texas. How many lines do we want? 1, 2 or 3? 3. All right. The clock's running, so I need more feedback quickly. All right. Storage tanks, how many? 1 to 7. 7. All right. Mixing vats, 2 to 8. I heard an 8 somewhere. All right. I'm just going with it. So I hit submit right now. What this is doing behind the scenes is it is connecting up to our infrastructure as code. We basically have that running inside GitHub as well. We have a separate repo that's for the platform. It is going through. It has finished doing this, and I'm going to talk through that less because I want to make sure I do it quickly. So this is the platform. It has gone through an action right there. If I pop over here and I click on it, I can see the actual action Ignore that. Let me pop back over here. And then the PR that's against this ends up popping up here in just a second. That PR that's coming from the actions it's running through right now. You can see it's in progress. It is doing each one of these different steps. And then as soon as this is done, then it generates the actual PR behind the scenes. That PR ends up being something that I am able to merge in. So I'll pop back over here. This is the commissioning, and I'm just gonna drop down. Once again, I'm on the clock. I'm gonna hit merge pull request, confirm this merge, and this drops it right into my infrastructure as code. So all of the changes that I had there, if I pop over to this, we can see the actual files that changed. This is what's happening behind the scenes. We basically have Site 4 that is coming up, and then I'll pop back over to Argo, and dynamically, this didn't exist before, but I'm gonna come over and do Site 4, and I have 3 Site 4 environments. I just did production. Pop over here, we can see these starting up on the fly. So this is spinning right over here. I can click on each one. I can actually see information about how it's progressing, the different pieces that are going here. The logs along the way, if you're familiar with Ignition, these things will look familiar to you as well. This is Ignition gateway logs basically that are happening. This is loading the modules right now. So basically the server's already up, the infrastructure's already set up, ready to go. The firewalls are in place. We're going through a load balancer. All the rules are set up inside there. The DNS is going to the load balancer, and Ignition is starting up on each one of the servers. And if I pop over now.
Just one thing to mention before he pops over is that not only did we deploy the Ignition servers, all of the ones for that site, but keep in mind, we specified how many lines and how many tanks we wanted and all that. We are then, after the Ignition server gets commissioned, we bring down the base config, we are then using the API to give it the specific tags and configuration for that server that's unique, that's different from the other servers.
Yes, thank you, Travis. So I will go to our production area 2, Site 4. That didn't exist before, and now it exists. I'm gonna pop over to not just the area server, but I'll pop over to the site server. Once again, these are separate servers that are running on the same infrastructure in Kubernetes. This is up and running, and we've got Ignition, we've got Perspective Punch that's running. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tanks, 8 mixing vats that we just set up, 2 lines that are going dynamically. And if I pop back over to that enterprise server, we're going to see that it automatically updated with Site 4. It found it inside the UNS, it's pulling all of that information in, and we are live with a brand new site.
I think it's also worth noting that now, of course, if we look at Sparkplug B in the broker, that now of all that, you now have Site 4 that's in there, all publishing. So we just commissioned a whole new site that quick.
That's the biggest deal, by the way, what you just showed. That's self-aware environment.
That is right. So Kevin, we have Arlen on stage with us here.
Yeah, that's right.
And he is the man, myth, legend. So we did something that was inspired by you, Arlen. But who is the most interesting SCADA engineer there, Kevin?
Well, I think let's ask AI. Who is the most interesting SCADA engineer, maybe in the world? Let's see what it tells us. And I'm going to ask it again. Who is the most? Right. Let's find out. Now it's inspired by the man on my right.
Make it full screen. Just enjoy.
He once commissioned an entire production line from the parking lot Wi-Fi. He doesn't acknowledge alarms. Alarms acknowledge him. He never gets a 3 a.m. call out. Machines wait until 9 a.m. out of respect. His gateway uptime isn't measured in days, it's measured in millennia. His historian never loses data, even his nulls return values. The cloud calls him for backup. Even legacy PLC5s speak OPCUA when he connects. He doesn't publish to MQTT. MQTT quotes him.
Buffering.
He once built an HMI so intuitive, the operators framed it in the break room. He is the most interesting SCADA engineer in the world.
Stay automated, my friends.
All right, well, let's wrap up here.
Yep.
A couple of things to talk about. Our MCP module is now available. You can look at the QR code. It's on our forum. You can go check it out and play with it for yourself. We have to answer the two questions about not only what problems did we solve, but how long did it take? We had an amazing team of engineers that helped with all the different parts of this demo to set up these 60 gateways that we showed here today. Our DevOps architecture, our data modeling simulation, our UI, UX, we built a whole theme for this, the application building, and all the MCP work. That took our team 8 weeks, not full time with the engineers. But here's what's cool to mention is that's for that first site. How long it take us to deploy that first site or the next one? That's the beauty of building it in a very object-oriented, templatized way, where we can follow these best practices. It allows us to scale, and the time drastically reduces going forward. In terms of the cost, we had Ignition Edge. There's 4 Ignition Edges at each area of the site, and then there was an ignition, standard ignition at the site level. And so for each site, there was a $38,000 license, completely unlimited for all of those pieces. And so each site, with total care is just under 50,000, and of course you could deploy that however many sites you want. And optionally, we can look at the cloud, leveraging the Ignition Cloud Edition or that Cirrus Link IoT Bridge for Snowflake. So hopefully this gave you a really good understanding of just the power of Ignition 8.3. This is the team that made all this happen behind the scenes, and we're really excited to be here. And if you guys have any questions, we're here, and if you want to stop by and see all the details about this demo, let us know for sure.
Excellent. Cool.
All right, thank you guys. That was incredible. Everybody, there is the Slido, so if you have questions, get your phones out. You can submit them there. While people are doing that, I do want to make one comment. Something that I love about Ignition, because I work in the life science industry, it's incredible that it is compatible with Git. Because when you think about how much work it would have been, let's say 15 years ago, to manually document all of the infrastructure changes, and now it's automated thanks to Git, that's a huge time saver. So thank you for making that effort with 8.3 to go, all file-based.
Validation is huge in life sciences, and so that whole process and the commissioning and all of that was part of our motivation for 8.3 and moving things over there too.
It's also made our lives a lot better too, as developers, so it's quite nice to have it all there.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Okay, so first question. Is it on the roadmap to have the designer be in dark mode?
The infamous question. So not right now. We would love to have designer dark mode, but we alluded to that it was there, but I'm sorry, it's not there.
Can you just put on your sunglasses?
I guess so.
All right. What is the availability figure? What happens to critical script when new server takes over? Do you understand that one?
Not available. I can answer it in general, though. So if you have redundancy, right, which I'm guessing this is coming from, and if you have a main redundant server and then you've got the backup server, when it moves from one to another, there are a couple of things. So that second gateway is going to start running scripts. But if you have a script that's in the middle of processing, if there's a sleep in the middle or it's doing something else in the middle of that, that script will stop execution when it moves over to the redundant server. If you need it to continue, I would highly suggest using SFCs. So the SFC, sequential function charts, are intended specifically for that type of thing, where you might have a long-running process, you have different blocks, and you can choose individual blocks if they resume, what they do when it goes over to that backup server.
Yep.
Fantastic, thank you. Please describe any challenges of using Spark-Plug-B, UNS, and the ISA 95 hierarchies.
Yeah, so I think this, I'll start.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think this has to probably do with the topic namespace within Spark-Plug-B. In particular, if you look at that one, because you have the group ID, edge node ID, and device ID, that was one where within an engine, we have that feature so that we can ignore those in terms of the tag hierarchy that we have there. But going to Spark-Plug 4, we are going to allow to expand that topic namespace for Spark-Plug. That will allow it to be, have more flexibility for everybody.
Right, and just so everybody knows, we are working on Spark-Plug V4, and we will be in room K on Thursday at 1:15 if you want to get a sneak peek of what we're going to be putting in the Spark-Plug V4.
I have two questions. Number one, when is your workshop and where is it? What time and what day?
Today, 2:15.
Okay. And number two, this is as the advent of agentic AI is making UI and UX development more of a commodity, much easier to do using those types of tools. How do you see the role of Ignition? Obviously, when it comes to control, you don't want agents building control interfaces, right? But a lot of interfaces are just the consumption of information.
Yeah.
How do you see the role of Ignition changing, specifically perspective, based on that criteria?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And we have two visualization platforms in Ignition. There's Vision, which is the kind of classic desktop SCADA that everybody was so used to, and of course we come out with Perspective, which is native HTML5. It's so powerful. There's a lot of cool features that are there, but it is web development, right? You are learning technologies that are in the web world, like CSS and how Flex works and various layouts and mobile responsive design. It can be a little bit overwhelming. And this is where I think AI has some huge impact for especially new developers there, because we can, right now, in public LLMs, we can go ask it to build perspective screens and projects. We can ask it to do mobile responsive design for us and get 80% of the way, and I can finish that at 20%. We have the scaffolding that allows us to do what we need to do. And I think that's huge. It really lowers that entry, that burden of knowledge, that knowledge gap, and we can get right into it. I think there will be more really awesome perspective applications because we can start with AI.
Yeah, it's something that we've been using in our team for a while. In addition to developing Ignition and our developers having AI assistants as part of our actual under the hood development processes, our team has been doing a number of things. So Gemini 3 is pretty good at that, what Travis just mentioned. Claude Desktop, Claude Code is gotten a lot better in the last 6 months. We have some really impressive internal demos, and we've talked to a lot of folks in the, probably in the audience here, but just in general in the community who have started doing that as well, doing that 80% approach. I've done it personally with some internal projects, so it's really cool. The future is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the file-based, that we have for everything makes it so it's possible, so that you can generate those files and then basically.
I think it's Ray Garcia who did a LinkedIn post a couple of days ago talking about never built perspective before, ever. Took him 5 minutes using an agent, and that was the inspiration for the question. Really, it's like how that the future. Great line. Future is here right now.
And there was one question I wanted to potentially address, which is somebody asked about Helm charts. We do have an official Helm chart available. If you go to charts.ia.io, we use that Helm chart in the Kubernetes deployment that we had here. We can go into more detail with it in our workshop for sure.
Cool. Well, this question's interesting. We even have Walker in the room. They said Walker warned that private firms sell. If your founder crashes out, what happens to your road mapping or pricing tool? How do critical infrastructures mitigate risk?
Look, we have an incredible responsibility to our customers, to our integrators. We have over 5,000 integrators in our program. These integrators have built their careers, their families all depend on what they're doing. We've seen end users who have grown, who have doing kind of projects now that we never would have imagined. And we have a real responsibility to the industry. We came about where our independence has allowed us to do unique things, being transparent, putting the software on the website you can download and try it, being able to be unlimited, right? Being able to provide free training, to access to all the people here in IA who make this product special as well. If we ever were to sell out, all that goes away, and the industry, that's not gonna be good for the industry. That is our commitment to the industry, is to stay who we are so that we can innovate for you guys so you can dream it and do it.
How is the data historian managed when you do dev, test, and prod? Is it a freshly instantiated one at each stage, and then is it merged, or how do you guys do that?
There's a few different options for that. So one, if you're using the internal historian, the core historian, as we call it inside 8.3, that is a separate copy for each one of those. And often you do want it to be separate for each, for those different environments. If you're using a SQL-based historian, something based on timescale or something else, then that's more or less up to you. You can point them at the same one, you can point them at different ones. When they're using the same one, they do have, there's some things behind the scenes that make it so you can share the same database, but still have different sets of data for each one. So yeah, it's really up to you. And
one thing we weren't able to really show here, but we also use deployment modes in Ignition 8.3, which means that we can have configuration differences for each of the environments. Right. So in our repository, you would see the configuration for our broker, for example, for production is the ProveIt broker. For staging, it's a Chariot broker that we have running in our cluster. So that we can have those differences and see those differences and be safe as we move from environment to environment, that we're not moving things by mistake.
And I have just one quick question. I don't mean to interject, but this is important. So if the the things that people should be excited about are composable architecture, DevOps, which you showed off very nicely, and new MCP support, right? If those are the three that we want to shine the flashlight on, which of those three features are the two of you the most excited about?
I can start. I can tell you for me, I think version control and DevOps is the way that we're architecting OT systems now is fundamentally different. And in order to go to scale, to leverage the fast pace of how we're putting changes out there and everything that's happening, we have to have these kinds of environments. And that more and more of the IT technology is entering OT. I just love that because it allows us to just do our job better.
And I will say, on the MCP side, I'm super excited about AI, where that's going. MCP versus REST isn't that much different when it comes to how an actual agent uses it. So MCP, in general, it's cool that it's there. I'm excited about AI, but if we were just comparing those, MCP would probably be the lowest of the list there. It would definitely be things on the composable architecture combined with DevOps and GitOps and all of that orchestration.
I think the composable architecture piece is being underutilized and it's not being overstated enough. The composable architecture element is just next level. And there's nothing else in the industry. Like literally, you stand alone right now on composable architecture.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Cool. All right, so unfortunately we are out of time. So I think we have about 8 minutes until our next session. So if you guys want to take a break, run to the bathroom, by all means, do it now. However, I think it's great to have this group of people up on the stage. So we're gonna do we're gonna play a little game. If you guys want to stick around, you can join us. So this is what we're gonna do. I have lots of fun facts about the three people up here. And I'm gonna say a question, a fun fact, and I want you to raise your hand for which person you think it is. We'll say Arlen is 1, Travis is 2, and you're 3. Okay, so the first one. Who has flown 4.2 million miles on a single airline? Remember, number 1 is Arlen, 2 is Travis, 3 is Kevin. All right, somebody's saying Arlen. Oh, lots of people are saying Arlen. Arlen, is that true?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, I gotta know. What did you do with those airline points? Tell me, did you go anywhere? Any good vacations?
My wife and daughters all fly first class everywhere.
Wow. There you go, that's a good deal. Okay, next one. Who knows how to hypnotize people? I'm hearing Kevin. All right, is it you?
It's me, yeah.
Did you hypnotize me to like your session?
No, I can later.
All right. Who installed an oil well SCADA system in Borneo with headhunters as their jungle guides?
Yeah, you
I heard in the audience, I heard Arlen. Arlen, was it you?
That was Borneo.
Oh, Borneo, okay. What's the story there?
We put in a offshore gas distribution field in northern Kalimantan, Borneo, and the Kalimantan headhunters were our guides.
Wow, that's crazy. Who built their entire home automation system on Ignition? Travis. Is it true?
100%.
Absolutely.
I can't help myself.
So tell me about it. What's in your home automation system?
Oh, I've got lots of things. I have a lot of Z-Wave devices. I have a lot of Zigbee lighting controls. So I've got like my garage door, locks, lights. Of course, there's a lot of APIs that we have for like Google Nest and Ring and all the different, Bond Home and all these things that I'm bringing all into my one dashboard. And I can see it all from here. It's pretty awesome.
That's awesome. Okay, so who coded a 3D engine in BASIC while still in high school? Any guesses? What's the answer? Who was it?
It was me.
All right. What inspired you to do that? Because when I was in high school, I definitely wasn't caring about engines too much.
It was Wolfenstein 3D. It was back in the day. There was a little bit of Quake, but I was super excited about it, and then I took a 3D math class, and it's like, all right, I understand vectors. Make this happen.
Gotta do it. Who automated 250,000 slot machines in Australia for a government-mandated responsible gaming? Any guesses from the audience? I'm seeing some 3s and some 2s. Who is it? It's Arlen.
Arlen.
What's the story? Was that one of one of your furthest trips?
No, it was Australia were trying to get responsible gaming. We had to watch the slot machine. Every 45 minutes, we shut it down for 5 minutes to tell you how much money you won, how much money you lost, and it all was publishing into an MQ series broker at the government offices.
Very cool.
But we designed the little single board computer that you had to put into your slot machine.
Very cool. Who has created over 500 training videos and trained thousands of engineers on Ignition? I think I heard Travis in the audience, and you would be correct. Was that your idea in the beginning to do that?
Inductive University was one of my babies. So Steve, our owner, we had this idea, and ultimately we made it happen. And we want to be able to go Google for everything you could do for Ignition.
Absolutely.
I spent hours and hours and hours and hours in a room making videos for that first release, and it was a lot of fun.
There were nights and weekends that I'd come in working on other projects, and you were just sitting in that back room.
Yep. And I'm one of those people that, like, when I make a video, if I screw up, I don't want to edit it, so I start over and do it again.
Well, I appreciate it. I think I've watched all your videos, so.
Yes, they're good.
Who used to produce short films for fun? Was it 1, Arlen, 2, Travis, or 3, Kevin? What's the audience think? Kevin. Kevin, what kind of films? Are any of them up? Can I find them?
Oh man, maybe. I'm sad you asked that. Maybe somebody will find them. They're terrible, but I mean they were a lot of fun. Like little promotional videos, and we did a little mockumentary on Gladiator, and used some of the Hans Zimmer's music for that, and had some cats instead of lions. So yeah, it was fun.
That's awesome. Let's see, and then I think this will be. I actually said this in my intro, so we'll see who was listening. Who bowled 90 perfect 300 games? Travis, that's right. So have you always been a bowler? Is that like your favorite sport?
I have bowled competitively since I was 9 years old. And when I was a youth, I basically paid for college with youth scholarships from bowling. Wow. And when I turned 18, I went pro, and I've been a regional pro for a number of years. And now, I mean, obviously with Inductive is my there's a lot of passion there, but I do bowl on weekends, and and league and tournaments, and so I still keep it up, yeah.
A man of many talents. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I think that was really great to get to know you better. I think you guys crushed it on your session. And we have 2 minutes until the next one, so I think we'll we'll wrap it up. All right, thank you
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.